You gotta love the pageantry of college football, and it's on display tonight, a homecoming Saturday for Kennesaw State as the Owls play host to the Skyhawks from UT Martin. Thanks for spending your college football Saturday with us. Nolan Alexander alongside the industry veteran and Stan Luter. This is a program that prides itself on effort, attitude, and toughness. And Kennesaw State needs that tonight against a Ragin' Cajun squad that is littered with veterans, and it all starts with their quarterback.
It sure.
The backdrop of this game is Kennesaw State's first head coach, Brian Bohannon, is no longer the head coach of the Owls. Sunday, it was announced that Chandler Burks, former co-offensive coordinator, would take over as the interim head coach for Kennesaw State. Burks is no stranger to the Owls. The youngest active head coach in the FBS now began his career as the first signee for Kennesaw State. Went on to a record-setting career with a couple of conference championships, then became an assistant coach for the Owls. And now he's tasked with guiding the Owls through their final 3 games. Caleb, you've known Chandler to be a leader. Thank you, Lauren. And there is Chandler Burks, leading the team on the field and then going straight up to the press box. As Lauren told us, Tim Glanton, the game manager, the acting on-field head coach for Kennesaw State, you can give it any title you want here. The relationship between those two dates back to the high school days when Glanton coached Burks at South Paulding High School before the two came to Kennesaw State. And Chandler told us that Glanton said, "I've got drawers that are older than you, Chandler Burks. I've known you since you were pooping green," to quote what he said about Tim Glanton. I think that's a great move by Burks with the experience of Glanton as a successful high school head coach.
Absolutely.
Bryson fakes, throws, and it's intercepted. O'Shea Baker with the pick, and he's eyeing the end zone. O'Shea Baker takes it back for Tennessee Martin. 7th career interception for the preseason All-American, and the Skyhawks go back on top. This the 10th play of the drive on a 3rd and goal. Owls look for their 2nd upset win of the season on their home field. On 3rd down, it's Bryson throwing for the end zone. It's caught for a touchdown. The tight end, Carson Kent. Gotta have it drive. The Owls have showed resolve all week, and they do it when the game's on the line. Bryson to Kent, and an extra point to tie.
Good time for a fake, maybe?
Ulrich looks to throw, has Bohannon in stride. Bohannon picks up the first down. Is set to return for Kennesaw State, and they run the fake. Slips a tackle in the backfield. FIU with a fake punt across the 50, across the 40, inside the 30, and out of bounds at the 20-yard line. Ross Fournay, the junior out of Windermere, Florida, with a momentum-changing play for FIU. First down, quick pass, intercepted on the far side of the field. Javen Williams with the pick, and Williams takes it in. 4th touch for Binyard today. 2nd and 2, run the reverse, the pitch back on the flea flicker, out to Kent with a catch, and Kent's knocked down at the 20. From the 25, on a 3rd down, Watson slips out of a sack. Watson's got a first down, Watson inside the 5, and he scores for the Bearcats. Hunter Watson on 3rd down feels the pressure, escapes up the chute, and gives Sam Houston State its first lead of the day. This would be a 49-yarder. A new long for Welch, who's perfect on the year. Snap, hold is down, the kick by Welch. Count it! Austin Welch at the horn remains perfect on the season and ties the ball game at 10. 2nd and 10. 3-man rush. Jenkins throws to the far side of the field, and Kennesaw State ices it with an interception by Jericho Washington. Ashley and No Pierre, two of the best in the nation. And they kick it off to Ashley from inside the 5. Reaches the 20. And he's tripped up and loses the football at the 25-yard line. FIU punched it loose, and the Panthers, after a field goal to open up the third quarter, may have just come up with a football. Watson, quarterback sweep to the left side. Watson with a block inside the 5, goes for the pylon, and Sam Houston wins it in overtime. Kennesaw State with Sidney Porter defensively. He's been one of the captains on defense this year. Tonight, moving to a new position from safety to this outside backer position, and he's been all over the field. 7 tackles, 1.5 TFLs. He's been in dent space numerous times. Kirby Smart, you know him, the head coach of Georgia. Former DB for the Bulldogs. Brent Key down the road in the flats. That's him hugging one of his linemen after a win last week against Miami. And Chandler Burks. What's in common? They're all coaching their alma maters now as head coaches, Caleb. Welcome back to Conference USA football. Quay Ashley and Sequan No-Pierre atop the nation and kickoff return average. No-Pierre leads the FBS. Ashley, because of Kennesaw State's second-year transition to the FBS, is ineligible in the statistical rankings. However, his yardage is better. He's housed 2 this year. And as we talked about in the open, don't let these records fool you. They're stars of the field. There's some unique stats between the two teams. Ashley and No-Pierre, two of the best in the nation. And they kick it off to Ashley from inside the 5. Reaches the 20. And he's tripped up and loses the football at the 25-yard line. FIU punched it loose, and the Panthers, after a field goal to open up the third quarter, may have just come up with a football. Quite a story for Casey Keeler, the program builder. Last year, Sam Houston started 0-8. And what Kennesaw State is, its second year of its transition to FBS. They were down 21-7 to Kennesaw State at Bauer Stadium at halftime. They came back to win. Ended up winning 3 games last year, what Casey Keeler said, in my 30-plus years of coaching, the most difficult 2 years that I've ever faced. Well, you see there, they made history. They've won 10 of their last 13 games. Tennessee Martin with a pick 6 of its own after allowing one in the opening half. O'Shea Baker puts the Skyhawks on top. Enter tonight a preseason All-American, All-Conference performer, the career record holder in pass breakups. Well, that time he did more than just break it up. He housed it for the Skyhawks.
Took it to the house.
FIU missed a short field goal in its first drive. Look at the football, though, Caleb. Where are those laces?
That's what we call a business decision. He knew he could have picked up some more yards there, but probably not good for business.
Who's had season-ending injuries before. Had a foot injury and his third start last year at UAB. Smart decision there as Brian Bohannon looks on. And should Kennesaw State choose to go down the field in a 2-minute type of offense, sometimes this is where offenses feel most comfortable. It's those basic plays that you rep over and over and you have down pat.
Well, you get your playmakers the ball in space like we've talked about. You relax, you use your timeout.
A look at the numbers for the veteran out of Mississippi, an Ole Miss transfer, Kincaid Dent. Take away that pick 6. He's been very solid for the Skyhawks tonight.
Really has. Mixed it up a little bit with his legs, known as a thrower. Decision time here on 3rd down.
You say mixed up with his legs. He's already picked up a first down on a 3rd and short with a quarterback run. Do they go back to it here?
I think you get the ball to Smith either between the tackles or outside if you can.
And that's what they do, handing it off to Smith. And Smith is tackled by Walker, but he has a first down to the 40.
Credit to the O-line there.
And that's behind the true freshman center, Jacob Norcross. Over 600 snaps this season, the most of any true freshman center in the FBS. FIU missed a short field goal in its first drive. Look at the football, though, Caleb. Where are those laces?
And made a really good play there.
That goes down as a plus in film review, right, Caleb?
That's
Former
exactly
receiver.
right. I wouldn't be surprised if they like to take a shot here as they get closer to midfield where they're more in no man's land, where they got to get the first down or potentially would have to punt.
That's what the OC Brad Cornelson said. We need to be more aggressive and watch.
Give our defense an opportunity to continue with what they've been doing all day.
And that's the coaching point from Burks this week. You're exactly right. He said never sacrifice your mechanics to rush and get anything out.
That lets you get 3 yards instead of none.
And that's what Chandler Burks, the co-offensive coordinator, said. That's the key to explosive plays. It all starts out, can you establish the run?
Great job by 73 getting on the linebacker there, opening up that hole.
Jacob Kettles, the transfer from Montana State.
He probably knows what kind of deodorant he wears with how much they've been together at the bottom of a pile or even just alone in open field.
Old school player Miles, spicy box score, 5 tackles, a sack, 2 quarterback hurries.
And your quarterback has to stand in his own end zone.
I think a lot of it too, Caleb, and I question it at times too, but I think a lot of it is they don't practice under centers, so you throw in that different variable there and you're afraid of chaos happening.
Correct.
Play fake, Watson out of his own end zone, able to slide through. Garland Binyard, the Owl linebacker, tackles him around the 10. To your point, Caleb, that was dangerous for Watson.
Incredibly dangerous.
For this first quarter.
Thank you, Lauren. And Harris told us in our production call, Caleb, they're going to need to change the math. They want to pressure, but do it in a different way.
That's right, Nolan. And
thank you, Maria. They told us in the summer, 7 a.m. every day, he is in there watching film. I mean, talk about a young man who's dedicated to the craft. That's Ben Woldridge. Louisiana has experience aplenty at quarterback. Ben Woldridge, the starter this year, beat out Chandler Fields in a tight battle. The starting QB job in preseason camp. Both have replaced each other due to season-ending injuries. It's been an interesting journey for these two. For more, let's visit with Maria Martin.
Off the field. Nolan?
Thank you, Jade. And speaking of having your teammates back, that's exactly what the other 10 Owls did to Michael Benefield in that rush.
Works at the rink. He loves being there. He can also get into the end zone, guys.
Yeah, Preston Daniels on rollerblades, the smoothest 5'11", 250. Handoff, Benefield, and he scores for the 4th straight game on the ground. Kennesaw State capitalizes on the Washington interception and punches it in for the senior Michael Benefield. Handoff, McKinney in the backfield, Adam Watkins on the stop for Kennesaw State. Watkins will earn a lot more playing time today with Walker and Scott out. Leads the Owls 3rd in Conference USA amongst interior linemen with an 82 Pro Football Focus grade against the run. But Sam Houston continues its march here. 2nd and 6 for the Cats. Wallace in motion, and they hand it off to Ashley, who's stuffed in the backfield. Tennessee Martin with a huge TFL. Jalen Sharp, who the coaches think could become a coach one day due to his high football IQ, forces a 3rd and long. A 3rd and goal now for Kennesaw State. The handoff to Preston Daniels, and the big man is in the end zone for a touchdown. Daniels scores for the 3rd time this season and gives Kennesaw State a 10-point advantage at home on Senior Day for one of the Owls' longtime standouts, the 5th-year senior out of Sandersville, Georgia. Bryson on a draw, jukes to the left, and Bryson's taken down to the line of scrimmage. Excellent footwork by the all-everything linebacker Travion Barnes, 3rd in the FBS, averaging 12 tackles a ball game. That's exactly what he does, Caleb.
Turnovers, execution.
There goes Patrick Smith down the left sideline. Inside the 30 to the 15, and Smith has a 1st and goal for Tennessee Martin on its longest play of the ball game. And Louisiana brings it out. Zylan Perry led the FBS in kick return yards last year. Perry down the right sideline tries the hurdle.